Hi everyone, welcome to Cache Walks.
We're in NASA's Space Center in Houston, Texas, and we're going to have a look at the exhibitions here to do with the moon landing and the shuttle, and also to see the lovely caches in the area. So come with us and see this interesting place. Houston, we've had a problem.
An overnight layover with our flight to Ecuador leaving at 6 p.m. What to do? Go geocaching, of course. We hired a car and drove an hour south down to the Johnson Space Center in Mission Control. At the entrance, we pulled over to find our first geocache of the day.
If it's your first geocache in the United States or Texas, you gain these souvenirs for your profile. The cache is near a display of two Talon T-38 supersonic fighters used in astronaut training and as a chasecraft to monitor early space shuttle landing tests. It was a quick find around a prototype command module for the Apollo moon landings.
Then it was into the Space Center for a look at the displays. The world's largest stony iron meteorite was on display here.
Being interested in watches, it was great to see a large model of the Omega Speedmaster, the first watch worn on the moon. There was a model of the International Space Station and home of GC-1BE91, the first geocache in space, with its one found it, one favourite point, and the hint, just getting there is hard enough. Good luck.
Then it was on to see the Space Shuttle exhibition. You can enter a shuttle replica mounted on top of the original NASA 905 shuttle carrier aircraft, a modified Boeing 747.
In the early days, ferrying flights transported the shuttles from their landing at Edwards Air Force Base in California back to their launch site at the Kennedy Space Center, Florida. In 1984, a purpose-built landing strip in Florida allowed the shuttle to land back where it had taken off, and the Californian one was only used when weather conditions in Florida prevented the shuttle from landing there.
It's one of the strangest sights in all of aviation. A 747 airliner piggybacking a 165,000-pound space shuttle. Who dreamed up this remarkable partnership with an airplane and an orbiter? Whose imagination solved the thorny problem of returning the shuttle to its home base?
It was very interesting to see just how big a shuttle was.
Then it was down to catch a tram ride over to the Johnson Space Center proper to see Mission Control and an original Saturn V rocket.
And we're beginning our journey over to the Johnson Space Center. Once we arrive on the other side of the tunnel that is ahead of us, we will be on federal government property at Johnson Space Center, or JSC as we'd like to call it.
This green console was used during the moon landings.
Here we are in the present Mission Control, where flight controllers monitor the International Space Station and where future space flights to Mars will be controlled. Then we headed over to the Saturn V rocket to complete the two virtual geocaches located there.
Now over on the right you'll see the Saturn V building, and inside inside that building is a real Saturn V rocket. It's not a mock-up or a replica. This is the real deal, but for budgetary reasons, we had to cut funding for the Apollo program, so this rocket never left the ground. It would have been Apollo 18, though, the very next mission that would have gone to the moon.
The first virtual had us looking for information about the Mercury Redstone rocket on display here. The size of the Saturn V rocket was truly amazing. When vertical, it stood higher than the Statue of Liberty. For this virtual, we had to locate words on the Saturn V using pictures of parts of the rocket from the cache page that had the words blanked out. We had fun searching for them.
After completing the virtuals, we headed over to see the longhorn cattle grazing nearby. And it was back to the start, passing by a memorial grove of trees, remembering the astronauts who gave their lives for space exploration.
Well, that brings us to the end of our cache walk at NASA's Space Center in Houston, Texas. We hope you enjoyed it and the caches around the area. So thanks for watching.
And don't forget to go geocaching.